All right. Good evening, TFFLers. It is Webcast Wednesday, and we are here. Sans, our usual leader and king of TFFL Media Stick. He is on vacation, taking a week in the Keys, and then a week of other vacations. So we miss you, Stick, and we'll try and do you proud here on the Webcast. Sit back and enjoy. We have got our usual panel with us. Good evening, Mr. Bertolozzi and the Giant Killers. How are we this evening?
Good. So here's the message for today.
Whatever you do, take care of your shoes. Have you been seeing fish lately?
I have. And your running backs.
And yes, running backs are you need to take care of running backs.
Nourish them as if they're your offspring.
All right. I didn't hear what Chief said. What do you have?
Never mind.
All right. Well, anyway, welcome, Chief, our commissioner, as always, here to join us. How are you?
It's fun to be here on another Wednesday night.
Excellent. We've got nothing else to do, so why not banter? And our special guest joining us for a return appearance, as always, welcome to the Webcast, ruler, king of the lizards, Richard Berkman.
Greetings, everyone. Good to be here.
All right. I'm sure Boston in the world of things and events of the week has been probably another interesting place to be, as is Washington.
Absolutely. Yes. I think that there's a lot of interesting places to be around the country. Boston is certainly one of those places.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, let's get on with the TFFL action of the evening. As usual, we will start our night with a TFFL trivia question.
Is this a multi-parter?
I got a two-parter here.
Okay.
I got a two-parter.
All right, listen good.
And you know what? Because we're here and I want to issue points. I think I can really I can milk it into three. So let's try that. Just quickly, I don't have the update from last week, and I don't remember what we did or didn't do on trivia.
Nobody got anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we did anything, but I do have the standings up through last week. And where we are is we have Chief is leading at 7. The guest has 6. Hank has 4, and Berto has 3. So we've been very mediocre, except for Chief at trivia.
There was a question last week, wasn't it? The answer was a sponge, right?
Yeah, it's that trick question nobody got.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, well,
I didn't get it. In all honesty, watching the webcast either. So.
Okay. All right. Well, then let me see. I can maybe even milk this into a couple here. Hang on a second. All right. Here we go. Highlight of the week this past week in week 10 was that the Amsterdam Packers laid a smackdown of 122 points on the TFFL, which is out of, we see them building, but all of a sudden the AmPack are here with authority. First part of our question will be, how many other 100-point games have we had so far this season? So give me a number of how many other ones we've had. And, it will if you can tell me who may have done it and how many points they might have had, I'll give you some bonus points.
Okay.
And then the other part, I'll give you another second question, somewhat related but not much. The 122-point game is a big one, and we do keep track of the over 100-point games. Which team had more most recently? And if you can tell me when it was, I'll give you some extra points as well. Which team beat 122 points? It came in with more points than that. Tell me when it was and which team.
When it was?
When it was?
Give me a rough guess. When is the last time somebody scored more than 122 points?
Oh, the last time.
Last time. Give me the last time somebody beat that number.
Chief is extending his lead today.
You got this one, you think? All right, and
I feel terrible because I looked at this on the archives after, and I still don't friggin' remember.
and I got to be honest. As I was trying to put these trivia questions together, I was looking through my email and archives, and either I just don't have it, which is very possible, but the last archive update I have is only through the end of the 2014 games. So it does not. My copy does not have the 2015 games in it. So I had to do a little piecing together between the website and the archives, and I think I've got this together for you.
Six got it together. I think. I think I have the latest copy, but maybe he hasn't distributed it.
Well, maybe not.
He hasn't. He said he would soon.
Okay. Well, then see. Okay, not crazy.
All right. So
All right. We will come back and answer those questions.
Over 122.
All right. Let's talk standings. We are into the stretch, guys. We're down to it. Either we're going to have a playoff run or we're not. It's 3 games and done. So here we are. Let's look at the North, which is, it's messy, but it's about to get some clarity is coming. So K-Wheels leading. I'm very pleased to be leading. As we know, this week we're going to play the team right underneath us, leading the other division, the Aliens. The Lizards chasing right behind. Killers and Fats still alive a little bit, but got to win immediately. Ampac, I didn't update their record because I didn't want to. They're not 0-8. They've been 0-8 on my sheet, and they're going to stay that way. South, a little more interesting. The Hams and Devils have broken away. They can hold it. Any of these other teams, they're going to have to go on a 3-game win streak and then hope. And other than that, I think they're going to be done. The Senators can already pack it in. So there's the standings. So let's open up the round table, and I'll throw it out to you guys in terms of let's talk playoffs. This is it. We got 4 division winners to be crowned and 2 wild cards, musical chairs. Let's start in the North. Berkman, you're our guest. I'll give you the first crack. Who's gonna be in our playoffs from the North?
Well, it's interesting. It doesn't make me happy that you're playing stick this week, because neither win for either of you is good for me. Clearly you two are leading, and I think the playoff picture has you both in it as long as things continue as they have been. I feel a little more safe with you, Phil, than I do with the Aliens. You never know what can happen in 3 games. But I look at the end and I see it being Stick and I battling for our division lead. If you beat him this week and I win, then I feel like I'm in the driver's seat. I'm going to play him, and the winner of that game has an advantage with 1 game to go. So that's just how it is. That's what it looks like up there in the North on that side. I think you got solid command on your side. I think Berto, if he could step up and finish strong, he has a chance at the wild card there. I don't think he has a chance to catch you.
Yeah, I think 5 of the 6 spots are filled right now. Barring an utter collapse, like someone going 0-3 or something like that. I think the Aliens, Lizards, Wheels, Hams, and Devils are in. That last wild card spot could go to any other team with the exception of the Packers or the Senators. It really wouldn't be surprising. It's going to be a 7-6 team that takes that. And then you have to let the tiebreakers sort themselves out. I don't think there's going to be another 8-win team to be had. I suppose maybe some Fats or Giant Killers could win 3 in a row, sure. Judging by what we've seen so far this season, that would surprise me.
Yeah, I agree with the 5 out of 6, and I sent Phil a white flag email after Sunday. Kind of my best Hillary Clinton conceding the division to the Wheels. So now I'm actually rooting for the Wheels to beat whoever else that they're playing besides me. So I have no problem with the Wheels winning now. I can't win the division. It would be a minor miracle for me to win the division. But I think Chief's right. It's I think few weeks ago we were talking about, is there going to be a team that maybe has 8 wins that wasn't going to make the playoffs, and now it looks like a 7-6 team will get in, and with the Ampax resurgence of winning a couple games and a couple other things that have happened, it sets up for that 7-6 team to win. But I agree, it's kind of anyone's game right now. The only, I guess, wild card or issue with this would be if the Devils somehow falter, and one of those teams can catch them. That could shake up the wild card, that 6th wild card as well. And then you may have a situation where the Devils don't win that division, and maybe the Beavers or something can slip in. But other than that, I think we're pretty set.
Well, Thorny sort of waved the white flag as well this week with the Beavers, and it'll be interesting. The Boba Fats are still in this, and the Lizards I think play the Boba Fats this weekend, and the Fats are definitely must win. If they don't, they're out. There's still some games to be played, and I'm not sure that a team that doesn't get 7-6, somebody's going to get in with 7-6.
Yeah. Also, I play the Fats. I think week 13 maybe, so that could be a big game.
I think you and I play week 13 maybe.
Maybe it's Fats week 12 for me. So that could be a big game. The Lizards right now are. Again, I haven't looked at the lineups. I don't know if they're updated, but they're 25-point favorites, at least on the website, to the Lizards. So that is a big number. I don't know how updated those lineups are, but that's pretty big.
The Fats?
Yep.
The Fats have not updated their lineup, but the reality, they're not going to close that big of a gap. The Lizards are going to be favored by a lot.
Yeah. So I don't think Richie, you have many buy issues this week, right?
Nope. Most of my buys are done.
So I'm definitely rooting for the Lizards there. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Berto, I'm gonna let me paint you a quick picture. I hate to do this, but since we're having some kumbaya moments here this evening, you and me feeling love, it's okay. If you can beat the Packers this week, and then beat the Fats, my week 13 lineup is a disaster, and I have no DeMarco Murray. I have I lose somebody else important.
You're on bye that week. Interesting.
Yeah, there's buys in week 13.
Okay.
So you are going to have a very good chance of beating me. And in fact, the K-Wheels are. I'm really glad. I said last week that beating the Lizards last week was huge and getting to 8 wins. Because
I knew I didn't have the matchups.
I know, and I have that problem this week. I lose Julio Jones and Devontae Booker. So I'm scrambling to put a full, and I lost Blair Walsh, my kicker. The 1 week I needed him to fill in as my bye week kicker.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yes.
You count on a guy for 1 week, you pick him, and then he freaking blows it.
Yep. So I got to blow a free agent pick or swing a trade for a kicker this week. And the K-Wheels, I'm limping into the playoffs. So, if Berto has a chance to close week 13 and he's playing me to get into playoffs, I really –
Come on.
It's going to hurt me.
That's why I was saying I think Berto is the one hanging on. I think it's out of reach that he's going to win the division, but I think that it is within his reach to make a wild card play, and I think he could be that last team in if things go his way. And then that game could be critical week 13.
Yeah,
it's a bad time to be playing the Ampac as hot as they've been, but at least Melvin Gordon is on bye this week.
That's good.
So, but I have issues too because Gronk is out and Matt Ryan's out, so we'll see what happens there.
Of course.
Yeah. Look, the one other scenario, as Phil I think was starting to allude to, was the Fats beat me this weekend, and then they go on a tear to finish out strong. They could end up in wild card speed too, behind Stick. My guess. That's absolutely possible.
Yeah. Don't forget the trades are going to happen. Okay, this week is a trade deadline, and we'll see teams that make themselves stronger. We'll see teams that make themselves weaker. And that will kind of sort out the middle class a little bit. I think most teams are going to stand pat. I know I think I'll be I'm in good shape to win my last 3 and finish 7-6. So I'm kind of like slow playing it. I'm not gonna make an aggressive trade to get better, because I have zero margin for error. I'd rather keep what I have for next year. I think there's probably gonna be a lot of people in that boat. They kind of, I hope I make it. Like maximize what I have, but let's not make that aggressive move because, I think the risk reward is fairly slim. I mean, it's a crowded, field for that last wild card spot.
No, Chief, and that's a great point because I think in years past there were always difference makers who switch teams and like big difference makers, and I'm having a hard time seeing it. I mean, I'm looking a little bit, but man, it's somebody who is who's going to put you over the edge. It's tough. I don't see it.
Seller's market like it usually is.
Yeah, I mean, you have some marginal guys that they may be helpful, but I don't see a true difference maker yet, and I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not I'm kind of standing pat right now too, unless I got a couple little discussions happening, but it's I don't expect it to go very far because it's too much, and I already made a Matt Ryan deal, and running out of picks. Nice beer.
Let's pause for our commercial interruption, Chief.
Yeah, it's just got a little ad here. Stone Brewery is opening up. They're a San Diego brewery. They're opening up in Richmond, Virginia. They may have actually just done that, or they'll be doing it very shortly. So this is you can read this fine print, Virginia Brewery prototype on their IPA. I guess the water is probably different. But I saw this on the shelf, and I said, you know what? That would be a good Wednesday night webcast beverage.
Excellent. I like it.
Well done.
I've had a few of those.
This was a Founders IPA.
There you go. I don't know if I've had that particular stone, but I have had a bunch of stones, and they are fantastic beers.
Stone is the greatest.
I'm going with the Bullet Bourbon.
I'm going with a different kind of stone.
Stone is the greatest.
Excellent.
I'm a fan.
Commercial interruption. Well done. We'll expect our royalty checks from the Stone Brewery Foundation any day now.
Rock and roll.
Excellent. Well, let's
send us some koozies.
Let's talk about a few players that have been interesting, and we've been, there's a few trade banter ideas that they're talking about. I think you kind of touched on, and everybody's probably at this point taking a look. Are you willing to go all in and make that big trade offer? Who are the targets that maybe are available? And I don't know that it's that different from other years where it's really a couple of teams and maybe they've got one or two players that might be worth moving. So it's gonna be tough. But there's some players who are having some interesting seasons, and I just want to throw in a couple of names, not necessarily as trade targets, but the Steelers and the Cowboys just played a great game this past weekend. If you saw it in terms of football fan. Ben Roethlisberger is playing awesome, and he has been really great as a quarterback in terms of stick, keeping him over Palmer and making that trade. And the other guy who didn't play in that game is Tony Romo. And the two of them, fantasy darlings of the past several years. Maybe Romo gets a shot next year somewhere else. What do you guys think? What do you think of those
discussion, guys? Huh? Now we can look back. That whole Romo discussion was a bust.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, well, as short supply as competent quarterbacking is, Tony Romo will be somewhere next year.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be in somebody's training camp, and until he gets hurt, he will compete for a job somewhere, as long as he wants to, and it sounds like he does. I don't know where. I don't think he's going to want to go to Cleveland. I wouldn't want to go to Cleveland. I don't know. San Francisco, Kaepernick's doing okay there now. I don't know where it is, but he'll be maybe Minnesota, and he'll be somewhere next year. Chicago. Looks like Chicago wants one from Cutler.
Yeah.
That might be a spot.
There'll definitely be an opportunity for him. There's no question.
I was going to say the Chiefs. How about the Chiefs? The Chiefs are always kind of knocking at the doorstep in the playoffs. Alex Smith, is he the guy that gets them over the hump, or do they need to move on from him, who's somebody who's a little bit more capable?
I think there's no doubt he's playing somewhere. Quarterbacks in this league have 9 lives at least, and he'll get a shot.
It's the other one is Houston, but man, they gave Osweiler a lot of money, so that's hard to justify too. But that would be a spot.
That would be ideal, actually.
That would be really good for him, but they'd have to find a taker for Osweiler, I think. I mean, they got a lot of money in him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they can get Romo in cheap and sell him on not having to uproot your family so much, and maybe take a lesser salary than he's accustomed to.
Could be.
Coming off his injury history in recent years, that would actually probably be a good idea.
Well, you can't figure he's got more than 2 or 3 years, even, at best, and with a neck injury, whatever he had, is he 1 or 2 big hits from just being a vegetable? I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, I guess I don't see him in Kansas City. Thoughts around San Francisco or Minnesota. I could see him landing in either of those spots next year, especially if drawing a blank on his name, the former quarterback who got injured doesn't come back.
Who, for the Vikings?
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater. I'm not sure Teddy Bridgewater is ever going to play football again. That guy's apparently.
What I mean. So if that's the case, I could see them signing Romo.
Well, they have Bradford for another year. They got some money now invested in Bradford, and they gave up a 2nd-round pick for him. It's been a disaster, though. They've lost 4 in a row, but we're not going to talk about the Vikings because it just makes me sad. I'm wearing my tie in somewhat of a good luck hope that they come back around.
Yeah, we can move on from that.
Please, let's do from that. Somebody who's playing really well, adding another quarterback to the list was, and it seems to be coming of age, is Marcus Mariota. And, not to, poo-poo Jameis Winston, who also is playing well, but Mariota is killing it. And Tennessee seems to be really kind of coming on with him.
I heard something. I don't know if you guys have the XM or satellite radio, the fantasy channel on XM.
Yeah, I listen to that sometimes.
I listen to that. And I think they said he was one thing I heard this morning, he was the highest scoring quarterback from week 5 on or something like that. Week 5 or week 6. I have to go back and check the numbers, but it was something like that. He's coming to his own, and man, they're lighting it up.
Yeah, he's the best quarterback nobody pays attention to because he plays on the best team that's never on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen a Titans game all year.
Yeah.
I guess we have the red
zone.
Gotta
get Sunday ticket, baby.
Red zone.
Sunday ticket. I watch Titans all the time.
Is that right?
They're on the red zone a lot because they've been scoring a ton. I mean, Marcus is throwing touchdown passes, but Murray is crushing it for me.
Dude, he's throwing touchdowns.
Yes. How awesome is that?
Chief, even your
killed me.
Chief, even your comment
this week.
I wish he had started Mariota, or wish he had, or
I'm glad he started Mariota, so I typed.
And then he puts up 30 points in a half.
Cousins threw like 2 touchdowns in 8 minutes. And I was like, dodged a bullet.
No, not quite.
Yeah,
bullet squarely hit.
Kudos to Nick on that one. He's got 2. He's got a quarterback of the future, and he's got some trade bait probably.
Yeah, he probably does.
You know what was really interesting this weekend is, don't tell me any of you were not surprised by how Tennessee beat the crowd. They beat the crap out of them. I expected Green Bay to win that game.
I picked it in the hang your hat pool. I was sure Green Bay would win that game. And maybe it was a little karmic. I often pick Green Bay in that pool because I figure if I lose, that's good because the Packers lost. But Tennessee was awesome, and their line is no joke.
Yeah, their line is great. Green Bay's defense is not very good right now. And the other thing about Nick, he may go back to Cousins this week to get a double dip on Green Bay because Washington's playing Green Bay, so they could light them up this week too.
On Sunday night, they'll be ready to play. Yes. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum of 2 guys who were fantasy relevant, and one of them pains me greatly. 2 guys who are out of a job. Blair Walsh, my kicker, who I need this week, who's gone, and Christine Michael, former darling of the, I know the aliens are mourning him heartily this evening. These guys are out of the league in the playoff stretch.
Michael got signed. He's a Packer.
He is a Packer.
That's too bad. I have
he just
more
got signed by the Packers.
So
we could sub in Alshon Jeffrey into that conversation too.
He's suspended, right? Or what happened to him?
He's done for fantasy purposes. Yeah, he's got 4-game suspension.
4-game PED. Yeah.
Is that the weed, or what did he do?
PEDs.
Yeah.
So on Christine Michael, so he's at the Packers now. So James Starks is the Mongol, right? Or Fats?
Nope. James Starks is a lizard.
Lizard, okay. So a little impact on the lizards, but hopefully going to help the Killers and maybe the Aliens. We'll see how that backfield shakes out now between Procise and Rawls coming back. So I was happy to see him cut. I did a little cheer.
And it's a pretty good landing spot for him, and he's a more talented runner than Starks is. But you have to wonder how fast can he get up to speed. It won't be this week. It may not be next week either. I think you're still looking at Starks and Montgomery for the most part out of Green Bay. And does that hurt the Devils' chances? Although Michael has been scoring much in recent weeks. Blair Walsh, and we saw him coming. We saw, like Stick said about 2 weeks ago. He was talking about the bye week preview or last week. And he said, you're going to need a kicker. So, and it's a kicker. I don't want to spend too much time talking about a kicker.
No, it just pains me personally because I need him this week and this week only, and then I don't care if he gets cut and he just 1 week too soon.
Maybe he gets signed.
I could use him signed for just this week. No, but
probably not going to happen.
No, probably not. All right.
As for
moving on from the player discussion, I will.
Hang on. I want to give you my 2 cents on Christine Michael.
Please go ahead.
One thing that I got to say is this guy has got to feel so used by Seattle. He's just got to feel like a rag doll being thrown around in there. That guy is giving it everything he's got for Seattle, and Pete just tosses him out, lets him go play somewhere else for a while, picks him back up, does a decent job, in my opinion, of what he did out there this season, and then just throws him back out with the whole Procise. Shows you how cutthroat things are.
Yeah.
Because Pete Carroll spoke very highly of Michael for a long time as well. Yeah. And whether that was to try and grab some trade bait or not, I don't know. But the Vikings actually put in a waiver for him as well, but the Green Bay had a higher spot and they got him.
I think the other thing too about him, just
fascinating.
Carroll did not actually speak highly of him the first time he had him, right? He thought he was immature. There were other things happening there. Maybe he wasn't a good locker room guy, whatever it was. So the first time they let him go, that was the issue, that they thought, the talent was there, but he was, too immature. And then you're right. This time around, it was all glowing praise, and he was getting the ball, and everything seemed to be okay. And even lately, I've watched some of the Seattle games. He looks fine. The line isn't there.
The Lizards drafted him when he came out of college. I saw him, and I thought he was going to be a super talent, and he still does look like a super talent.
So who knows what's going on there? Maybe there's still locker room or immaturity things going on, or they needed the other running back to they needed to sign another running back who can play special teams, but who knows? But the other thing too is he's a free agent. He was going to be a free agent at the end of the season, so
I'm surprised they didn't at least try to trade for him.
Yeah,
they could have put out a trade for him.
And the part of this we don't know is what was going on behind the scenes. We saw it a couple weeks ago with the Patriots and Jamie Collins, just abruptly cutting a guy who was starting for them and producing for them, right? We don't know what's going on in the locker room. One of my favorite expressions I call the Dickie Betts rule. And, people put up your shit just until you're replaceable. Yeah.
It's a good point.
They'll eat it. They'll smile. They'll say thank you. They'll deal with you until someone comes along that can do the job better. Landon Roberts, Thomas Rawls, Derek Trucks, whoever it is. And once someone can replace you, you're gone.
I love the almonds references. Very
Yes,
nice.
it's a nice reference, Paul. Well done.
If you ever hear me say the Dickie Betts theorem, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Nice.
I like it. Well, very nice. In days of TFFL past, we used to have you two of the what were you? You weren't called the stem cells when you two were together, were you? With the I and the Chief and Berto show.
No, we were the stem cells. Sure.
Sure.
All right. So the stem cells, used to jointly produce content for the TFL at a regular clip. So we will turn it over to YouTube.
There were two separate publications, though.
Separate publications, okay. But now we'll turn you guys loose on our guest, Mr. Berkman, to talk about the Lizards and the state of the TFFL and anything else you may want to generally discuss.
Rock and roll.
Chief, would you like the honors?
No, go ahead, Mike.
Okay. So Rich, what's been the biggest surprise for the Lizards this year? What's the thing that hasn't gone quite right with your team, or maybe it's gone far better than you thought? What's been the biggest shock?
Well, there's certainly a battle for surprises in different ways, but I think that the best one is Jordan Howard. I think that Jordan Howard stepping up and really looking like a guy who's going to be the lead dog there for a while is quite talented, and I didn't quite expect him to be able to step into that role as soon as he did. That has definitely helped the Lizards going down the stretch. The other thing I didn't count on is, or that was a surprise, not that I didn't count on it, but I wasn't expecting Mike Evans to have as outstanding a year as he is having.
He's been awesome. Yep.
He's been a beast. And I also wasn't expecting Cam to have quite the mediocre season that he's having. He's had some very strong games. He's an average quarterback, not an outstanding quarterback for me this year thus far. I like to see that change. A lot of it has to do with matchups and the changes that they made to the team. But I think those three are probably the ones that top the list, and Jordan Howard would be the biggest surprise of that group.
Okay.
Rich, keeping on the quarterback theme, obviously at the end of last season, you had two very highly rated quarterbacks. Right? Were you planning on keeping Newton all along, or were you going to trade the guy you had the better trade offer for? Or what was your thinking between the end of last year and Protection Day on, where were you leaning as far as your quarterback of preference?
I think the best way to put that whole period of time was anxious. There was a bit of anxiety of which way to go. Honestly, I felt that I was in a great situation because it was a no-lose situation, no matter which I kept. But then splicing and getting down to hairline sort of pros versus cons on both of them. Certainly what was being offered and seeing what people were offering me for one or both of them played into that a little bit. But for the most part, it really settled on me deciding who I wanted to keep on my team. And I decided in the end that I think Cam had more upside, short-term and long-term, and that any minor differences between him and Luck were going to be just that, minor. And that was where I was going to end up rolling the dice. I liked his upside running, playing, being just a little bit more mature, and I liked the Carolina situation better than the Indianapolis situation. That's how I perceived it at that point. I still think Carolina is going to be a great team, and I think he'll be very, very strong. I hope he doesn't settle back into mediocrity. What's surprising is that he's doing it, and he has Benjamin back. You would have thought that would have added another weapon to make him stronger, and it definitely has not, at least not to this point.
You know, it's funny, just a quick add-on to that, how often that happens. We think they're getting a great weapon back and it's going to get better. And we're seeing the opposite happen in Detroit right now, where Calvin Johnson, retired, and Matthew Stafford's clearly a better quarterback than when he was there.
Right.
So Rich, just to keep going with this, was there ever any thought that you were going to keep both, or you were going to take an offer no matter what?
Oh no! If had I not gotten an offer either way, I was absolutely ready to keep both of them, and not let them go.
Okay.
Had I not gotten an offer that I thought was good enough, I would have kept it and saw to see if there was more value in the season.
Okay.
What I should tell you also in that question is that for a very long time, I actually favored luck. I favored luck for a long time. I honestly, I probably walked around for the month beforehand, and anyone who knew anything about football, I would just randomly say to him, Luck or Newton, what do you think? Which one you keep?
That's great.
I got lots of varying opinions.
So speaking of varying opinions, Chief and I, the Voice and the I, were co-owners once upon a time. Give us what's the decision making or the discussion that happens with you and Adam right now? How engaged is Adam in the current state of the Lizards?
So Adam fluctuates in and out, but I would say more recently he's been a little away from the scene, but he plays a very active role. I mean, just as an example, we were just discussing Luck versus Cam. How many times I talked to him about those two? By the way, he was about Cam all the time. He felt strongly about Cam all the time. That was where he was leaning the entire time when we started the discussion. Adam will every week he is engaged. I will get a text before the start of the clock game from Adam, the Lizards. I will get a text a half hour, 2 hours before the game, ask certain players or our lineup sets, and I will off him, throw him a bunch of stuff. But when it comes down to ultimate decision making, it's all me. And Adam plays a very strong, influential role when he can.
Okay.
Can we back up just for a second? Is it fair to say that Adam Cutler's influence may have kept Cam over Luck? Is that fair to say?
Well, he definitely had something to do with that. There's no question. There's no question. Well, I mean, look, I weighed his opinion in it, right, very strongly, and I would reflect and rationalize various aspects of the pros and cons between both of them with him. Right. So we spent a lot of time discussing that topic together. So he was very active in that conversation. To say he wasn't an influence would absolutely be a no. He was absolutely had a role to play in that.
So we could say that Adam is the guy who decided to keep Cam over Luck, is the point.
That's a journalist putting words in somebody else's.
I am no journalist, and I'm not. I didn't know. I'm absolutely laying it on you.
That was like a Megyn Kelly moment there.
Yes.
You know what I learned today? She was offered her next contract with, maybe this should be safe for the rant, but with Fox News, $20 million a year. $20 million a year for Megyn Kelly.
Is she worth that much? I mean, maybe if they do like a series of specials that really draw in big numbers, but does she draw that much night to night?
Is she worth more than Tom Brady? I don't know. I mean, Anyway, I don't want to get too off target here, but just her name being brought up reminded me.
Jeez.
And she
So
turned it
yes,
down.
Adam, to your question, Berto, Adam is engaged in the league. He's engaged in talking smack with people. He
Good.
jumps in and out, and he plays as active a role as he can.
Good. And we're looking forward to having Adam back at the draft next year for sure.
Absolutely.
Speaking of
Which, by the way, you're going to get very soon. You're going to get the house of all houses that we can find on Myrtle Beach, and we may get a couple other options, but we're nailing that before the end of the year.
Good. That was on my list of questions.
I was just gonna bring that up, but that's exactly right. I guess it's really not. We're a little probably too early to debate it. You know, if we had Richie on like 3 weeks from now, maybe we'd have a little give and take. But yeah, there'll be a Myrtle Beach. I'm bringing back the Pirates Playground from North Topsail Island. I looked on Jersey Shore, but I saw nothing that really would fit our lifestyle. I don't want to be 8 feet from a neighbor in a Victorian house. But
It's tough. I've looked at the Jersey Shore before too, and it's.
But it'll come soon. It'll come well before Christmas. We'll have that out.
The laws are changing in Massachusetts. Cape Cod could be an option.
Yeah, because we have a really hard time with procuring said product. Nice.
What else, Chief? What else you got?
It's just open. It's you would drive anyway, probably.
Listen,
in any case,
I want to make it clear that I want to be involved in any committee that's figuring out how to make that work at a highly successful commercial level, whether that is in public places, whether it's in commercial retail. I mean, they're going to be billionaires made. I keep saying this. Why can't we be among them?
rock and roll.
Sign me up.
Let's get that business plan together.
Just gotta have an Amsterdam style bar, and you have to be in it early.
Be the McDonald's of this industry. No, but it's not about McDonald's. It's about being cooler than that. Regardless, we're getting off topic. We'll come back to that in the off-season rants.
All right, back to the eye.
Yes.
Chief, what do you got? You got a question?
No, not really. I was just looking at your draft, Richie, and for the most part, I was just commenting as, my first impression is very good because you got a couple of good rookies. I'll just go through it with you really quick. If you want to comment on anything, feel free to comment. First round, number 11, Paul Perkins. I'm not a huge Paul Perkins fan. He's in an opportunity, though, where he can get some playing time. I certainly don't think he's worse than Rashad Jennings right now. Follow up round.
That one was totally eye on the future. A guy who I think could be their starter next year. Rashad Jennings is older. He's not that impressive, and now we're seeing Perkins already eat into his carries. So I like that situation. I think he's a strong runner from UCLA. I thought he was great at UCLA. And I thought Stick did a good job sort of bringing him up in the draft in terms of potential that I would grab him. And I was excited to get him.
And followed up in the second round with Jordan Howard, who I was higher on coming out of Indiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I looked at that situation in Chicago, and I said, yeah, Langford looked great last year. We got a 3-down running back who's putting up points. I don't see what the Bears are going to do with Howard, but Howard looks like a different kind of back, and it looks better fit for the Chicago offense right now.
Yep.
Agreed. That was, I felt good. I felt as equally good about him as I did about Perkins. Really, I could have taken one before the other, but that's just the way it landed. And I decided I wanted to go after 2 rookies early. Because as we all know, running backs are a shortage in this league. And, I was counting on Adrian Peterson being healthy a lot longer than he was. But that not being the case, I had to hope one of these guys would step up. And it's nice that Jordan Howard did. I didn't think Langford was all that good. I thought he was I thought there was opportunity there for Jordan Howard.
And
I won't comment on every other one.
Let me skip ahead then 3 picks to your second pick in the 4th round.
Well, just name who else I picked on the way there.
Travis Benjamin in the 3rd round. James Stark was the first pick in the 4th round. But your second pick in the 4th round was Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas, whom I really liked. And if I didn't have Brandon Cooks on my team, would have taken him before then. But so the point is, you went out in your first 5 picks with 3 rookies, and they really seem to be doing a pretty good job for you.
Yeah, no, Thomas, I felt had the potential to be the next Marcus Colts that has Drew Brees at the helm. I wanted to take a flyer on that, and I felt that I could do that because I had such strength at wide receiver already that if he didn't even play most of the year, he was going to end up being a fill-in guy to T.Y. Hilton, Evans, and ODB, right? Or OBJ. And so I was just the composure of my team allowed me to take that risk and go with another rookie that I could hope would do good things.
Yeah, just one of those raw, talented guys that you put it together a lot sooner than you would have thought. And if you want,
it's exciting.
I'll just
it gives me trade opportunity now too. People who want to find a wide receiver that they can center around their team going forward. And maybe they have a running back to allow me to improve my team. There's talks ready to happen about that because unlike where you guys were talking before, I'm absolutely ready to move on something if it improves my team.
I have no doubt about that because wide receiver being the strength of your team coming into the year, and you did nothing but enhance that in the draft. So kudos to you. I hope it works out for you.
Cheers.
So the other thing about your draft too, I mean, I think it's real good because one thing I judge drafts about is how many guys are and made your lineup who are playable, and if it's not out of desperation, I mean, who's actually playable? And you look down, guys like Tim Hightower, Mike Wallace, Gary Barnidge, Michael Thomas, Tyrod Taylor. These guys are all getting some sort of playing time and making it in the lineup as at least decent bye-week fill-ins and good bench guys. So it's that's a testament, I think, to a pretty solid draft.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, sometimes you really got to play the range of odds of putting points on the board for you, right? I mean, Phil and I were talking before the weekend on his birthday when we chatted, and we were debating, should I have started David Johnson over Paul Perkins? And really, I said, it's either way. I thought Johnson may have a better chance being the receiving back going against Baltimore last week. I think it was Baltimore. And I thought being the receiving back, he may have had a little better chance than Paul. They ended up scoring the same. They both got 1 friggin' point, right? So it didn't really matter. But that there's no question you're looking for guys who are going to give you points.
I stand by that recommendation of Berkman. I start Paul Perkins over Duke Johnson every time.
Rock and roll.
Yes.
Well, nice. James Starks is going to actually push Perkins out this week.
So final question for me. Two Pac Bowl runner-ups. Is it Pac Bowl or bust this year? Is that the only thing that makes the Lizard season a success, or where are we at with that?
It's always Pac Bowl or bust. It's always Pac Bowl or bust. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. I'm hoping that my third trip there in so many years will make it a charm. But I'll be honest with you. The way Cam has been playing, if he was playing a lot stronger, I'd have a lot more confidence in where we're going. I think he has some good matchups ahead. New Orleans this weekend, I think that's a decent thing. So I need him to perform. We talked about earlier in my last visit to the webcast the importance of the quarterback in that position, and that really does wonders for you. Certainly, you get miracles out of some other players, but right now, I think the Lizards are behind a couple other teams in just being able to make it to the Pac Bowl based on how we've been performing. So, as we all know, luck sometimes pulls you when it comes to injuries or other things happening. And right now, I got a little good fortune in the way Starks is stepping up. Starks and Howard can make a good combo for putting some points. I'm confident with Olsen.
Breaking up a little
I
bit.
just need Cam to really step up.
All right, I think we broke up a little bit on that last part, but yeah, your point is well taken in that all of our guys have got to step up now in these next 3 weeks, or the season is going to get real short, real fast. It's go time. This is great. Yeah. So speaking of that, let's throw it over to the commissioner and give us a little heads up on the schedule and the game of the week and how things are looking forward.
There are teams that are going to be eliminated this week. The time has just kind of run out. There's 3 games left. There's the 4 and 6 teams are still hanging around. Obviously, the 5 and 5 teams are a little bit better, but there'll be some eliminations going on this weekend. I had a hard time picking a game of the week this week. I think I try to spread around the love a little bit for the segment, but the obvious one was the excuse me. So I don't want to be wrong. I'm waiting for it to pop up here.
You know, there's only one obvious game of the week, and he should be here
Aliens and
to have an entire segment about this battle royale for the North. So I will freestyle for a moment while Chief is getting his schedule to pull up.
No, I got it. And you're right. I was just kind of
Aliens is the game of the week.
A little bit. Yeah, and it's important because you get the first round bye at stake. There's other games important because people are going to be eliminated. But I've featured a lot of the wheels lately. And I think the Lizards have a 1A game of the week too. That's the Fats, correct? Right. So that game's really an elimination game for the Fats, even though they're at 5 and 5. To fall further behind in the division and lose a game in the tiebreaker, that's really, for all intents and purposes, an elimination game. But let's talk about the Aliens and the Wheels. Right, the Aliens are a 22-point favorite right now.
I'm devastated by bye weeks.
Yeah, and we talked about that.
And no kicker
and no kicker's gonna hurt. So let's say put a kicker in there, and he's good for 8 points or so. So then we're down to 2 touchdowns, and it's got to come to matchups. Derek Carr has a chance to put up a huge number against Houston. Some of these numbers I look at and I say, why would you assume this guy's going to score this and this guy's not? But it is what it is. I think if Hank wins, and he's got to be in tight to do so, I think that's going to pretty much solidify his chance, depending on tiebreakers, maybe clinching the conference at that point. Depending on what the Lizards do, and again how the tiebreakers run out. So that is a huge game. The Aliens have probably been, outside of the Hams, the most consistently good team this year. I understand the Wheels have a better record. I think you got a couple of low-scoring wins, this season, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you do.
So, anything can happen. And, the Hams are, let's say, 2-touchdown favorites. I think it'll probably be closer than that. But I would also make the Aliens a favorite in this game.
It's going to be good. The way the math works, I think if I've done it right, and I think I have, if I beat the Aliens this week, I clinch the North. And just based on I get to 9 wins, and the best Stick could do would be to also meet me at 9 wins, and I'd have the tiebreak. So, we talked last week, 4 games to play. I needed to beat the Lizards last week. Beating the Aliens this week is a tough ask. I got a couple of key guys out on the bye, including Julio Jones and Devontae Booker. And I'm going to be – and I don't have a kicker. So we'll get those things sorted out. There's a trade deadline coming, and I'm going to try. I'm definitely going to try to have another piece in my shed here before the trade deadline passes. I'm not mortgaging the future to do it, but we'll see what can get done.
I think one good thing for the Wheels is at least you have Douglas Martin back
Yes.
in your stable. So I mean that's good. And I think you both have pretty good matchups, right? DeMarco Murray against Indianapolis. I'd call the quarterbacks a wash because the Steelers are playing Cleveland, so that doesn't bode well for you, Phil.
No.
But
Not at all.
But
Cleveland and Pittsburgh, it's one of those NFL things where they'll play a 20-17 game just cause.
Or they'll be up by 31 points in the first half and won't throw another pass again.
Yes.
Either way. I think that's more the fear that they're up so big and they're just handing the ball off. But if they're up big, hopefully you get a few. Hopefully for Stick, he'll have a few touchdowns. But Stewart against New Orleans, that's a pretty good matchup. We talked about the Green Bay, Wisconsin or Washington game. I think that's going to be high scoring. Then you got the Jacksonville Detroit game. Allen Robinson against Marvin Jones. Could be some points there. So I think this is going to be a high scoring game.
Did you see this? The Vikings are actually projected to score 2. I don't think I've ever seen a defense with more than 1 before.
Vikings defense has been pretty good for me, and we'll see. They've got a few points.
And then obviously the big wild card here is Blunt against San Francisco. He could do some damage there as well, but
he did his damage last week. Belichick's going to totally change the game plan. This is the week Brady will have 410 yards and 6 touchdowns.
I like the theme.
Touchdown hat trick.
Thanks.
Touchdown hat trick.
Touchdown hat trick.
Nice.
That was me. Apologies.
All right. So big games across the land, eliminations at stake, playoff positioning at the top of mind. And next week we will be talking about some teams who are no longer in it, and we'll see if we've got any big trades to look at. All right, let's talk about our TFFL trivia answer, if we shall. To recap, the question is going on the Amsterdam Packers' impressive 122-point week. How many other 100-point games have we had this season, and who and how many? The correct answer is I think Chief has that at 1. We've had 1 so far this year. And the Hams are the correct team that did it, and they scored 110 points. So
I was on the losing end of that week 1.
You got 113?
No, that was a guess.
I'm going to give that to you plus or minus 3. I think that's a good guess. What do you got? Roberto's got 3. No, it's not. But you do have the Hams. I'm going to give you a point for that.
Okay, thank you. I'll take it.
Got it. All right, Berkman, how about you for the guess? How did you come in?
I had 3 as well, but I also have I have Hank, the Aliens, and the Hams.
All right, so you get a point for the Hams. Excellent.
Rock and roll.
And what was your number?
Because I had 3, I wrote that 105 to 120.
We can't give you that, but that's okay. That's okay. Well done. All right, so there's a point. All right, we'll total them at the end. Okay. The next who had more points most recently? And the answer, selfishly, is the K-Wheels. 2015 week 3 with 126 over the Amsterdam Packers.
I wrote the Hams last year.
All right.
I had the Lizards 2014.
All right.
I don't mind the playoffs, but I remember being one before. That was probably the previous one.
There was a game like that, Chief. I don't know. It was that far back, 2007 in the playoffs. That was like 128 or something like that.
When you count the 3 points for home field advantage, it tied for the best.
Yeah, I remember that.
On the Mongols. I said 2007 because that was Brady's big year, but may not have been. It may have been more recent than that.
Yeah, the Sponge had 126, right?
Something like that. But the K-Wheels had 126 week 3 last year over the AMPAC.
Do not remember that.
All right, so what's our total? So Chief got 2 points, is that right?
Chief got 3 points.
3 points. The guest got how many points, Berkman?
1.
And Berto got 1. All right, so 3-1-1. Excellent. Well done. All right.
And of course, I remember that because I was on the losing end of that week 1. I lost with 96 points to the Hams. Week 1.
I do remember that. Yeah.
96-point loss.
Those are brutal. Yeah. So, Commissioner, turning it over to you for news, notes, tidbits, and announcements.
Fucking Megan Kelly, $20 million a year and turned it down. Jesus. Listen, we've said it for the last 2 webcasts. It's been in the commissioner's report. Trade deadline is 1 o'clock Sunday. Hank, you absolutely should make a move. Richie probably should too, and I know he's going to try. There is deals to be had. Again, I think it's a seller's market, unfortunately, and it might be where you're not comfortable paying. There's deals to be had out there. You know, we have Saints and Falcons?
Panthers.
Panthers. It was a NFC South thing. Okay. So get your Cam Newtons and your Drew Breeses and your Mark Ingrams in the lineup. You know, this is a very anxious time in the TFFL. You know, I personally haven't made the playoffs in 2 years, which dumbfounds me. But you know, this could very easily be 3 here. And man, it sucks. When your season's over, it sucks. So hopefully
There's
we can hang in
nothing
there.
worse than that. I've been there many times, and it sucks.
I mean, I can't imagine, you know, Ralph, Jesus, like in October his season's over. But hopefully we can stick around for another week or 2. And good luck to you all. I don't really have anything else to say.
Well, we'll come back and touch on the Sponge because, you know, with their all-in move to grab Luck and the you know, let's be honest, the relative mediocrity of the South there for the taking to be, you know, for a team to rise up.
Yeah.
The Hams have scored a lot of points, and they're good.
Listen, my last 3 games, I have the Mongols, the Senators, and the Hams being hurt by bye weeks. So, you know, I could roll 3-0 here.
You'll
I
be
can
in.
also
If
roll
you go to
0-3.
7-6, you're in it.
I can also roll 0-3 here. So, you know, you never know what's going to happen.
That's why we play.
That's why we play.
Yes.
Yeah, Luck, hopefully they'll get Grigson out of there and Pagano out of there and hire a GM who thinks it's important to protect their $120 million quarterback. So we'll see. You can always hope. Unfortunately, it doesn't do me any good this year. And Luck's been there. He's been, you know, number 5 or 6 kind of quarterback, but it's been uneven.
Yeah.
Well, Luck will have to keep up with Mariota this weekend. So, I mean, that's something.
Yeah. You guys said that a couple times. There could be some really big scoring games this weekend.
We'll see. And I think the TFFL, Luck is forever, you know, he's forever tied to RG3 in the real NFL. I think he's forever going to be tied to Cam Newton now in the TFFL.
Yes,
Yep.
sure.
RG3 just passed. He just got reinstated.
Great.
Something
Did he
like
sign
that.
in Cleveland?
I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's what the savior looks like, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope.
Really
the
bad
Vikings-
news, by the way, just popped up about running back Isaiah Peed. Oh, sad. Sad.
Did he die?
No, he lost part of his leg though
That's too bad.
from
Yeah.
a car accident.
Yeah, I knew he was in an accident, but
Yeah, they said his career was over. I was wondering how to be so sure. I guess that would do it.
Yeah. Not being able to run is going to hurt your football chances.
Yep.
Well, on that positive note of our webcast, Lightning, good fun.
Hey, everybody get really excited about finding out where our great draft locations are going to be. Okay.
Maybe LeBron James comes to play quarterback for Cleveland.
That would be a great move for LeBron. That'd be great fun to see.
And Rich, I think I'm going to be in Massachusetts the first weekend of December. I think it's the 3rd, 4th, 5th. So
Let me know where you're going to be about. If we can make it happen, I can meet up with you one night. That'd be great.
I'm thinking about actually trying to get tickets to the Patriots game. They play the Rams that weekend. So if you're available, let me know.
Awesome. I will let you know sooner rather than later.
Awesome.
I was at the, as you saw, I was at the Pat Seattle game, I may go to the Pats Baltimore game. We'll see.
Great seats, by
Monday.
the way.
Yeah, great,
Yeah, that was amazing.
great game.
Yeah,
Great.
the guy who has the tickets that I get, it's 6 rows up, right from the 30-yard line. It's pretty awesome.
Did you stay to the end?
Oh
You seem
yeah,
to be you seem to be a state of the end kind of guy to me.
That was a
No
state of the
question.
end kind of game.
you cannot get me out of my seat.
No, that was good.
I was there right to the end. Yes, that was a good game. It was a good game.
Indeed. A lot of unhappy loser pool people with that. But
Yeah,
in
well,
our case, everybody's
I was
back
thinking
in.
myself, I
That's
should
still
have
going on.
I
Yep.
should have taken
Seems
a
like
risk
enough a month.
and taken New England to lose.
I even offered it to you guys. I said, all right, everybody's on Seattle. If everyone wants to change, go for it.
Hey, did I reply?
Nobody did. Anyway,
It would have been no good for me anyway. It would have been no good.
you're taking a winner.
So we got to pick again this week. That's great.
At any rate, doesn't matter. It's over now. We'll repick this week. Great time to be in the TFFL. 3 weeks to go. Madness is about to ensue. Trade deadline this week. Quick round. Are we going to see any trades? How many between now and Saturday?
Hey, you remind people line actually is.
You broke up there.
He broke up.
Can
again.
you remind everyone when the trade line deadline actually is?
Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Sunday, 1 o'clock.
I'll put the over under at 4. And I will take
Really?
the under.
Yeah,
I'll take the under.
I think you set the line too high. I think it should be more like 2.5.
I think if you count the K Wheels kicker, we might get to 4.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe one of them will be worth talking about.
All right. So how about the over under 3.5? Is that fair?
Yeah, I'm still going under. I've been looking, and I want to make a trade. I am ready to bargain some assets to get some weapons right now. And there are so few people who are ready to cash in their chips and go for it. We'll see.
The problem you have is I don't think there's a lot out there that people are willing to give that you need.
That's right.
All right. So 3.5. Phil, you're going under.
I'm under.
I'm under.
Rich, you're under. Chief.
I'll take the over.
I will take the under as well. So we got 3 unders, 1 over, 3.5.
All right. We'll see this time next week. All right. Any last final comments? Stick, we miss you greatly. We'll look forward to your comments and your return next week.
Yeah. Thanks to Rich for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rich.
Get a
Yes.
gift certificate to
Hey, really,
something.
Yes, our parting gift package.
wait.
Crowley.
By the way, I have right here. What is that?
Who's Paul Perkins? Very nice.
That is my signed Paul Perkins card. It's right here
That's the prize.
in the office
Glad-
where the magic happens. We're happy to receive my gift from the TFFL webcast.
I'm assuming next week we're gonna have the mailbag segment back, right?
I
We
hope
might.
so.
Whoever's ready to run the mailbag segment, are you queued up?
I'll mail some stuff in under an assumed alias.
Well,
Awesome.
webcast watchers, please feel free to send in your mailbag entries for next week. And
Who is that handsome guy? You keep calling Chief.
Yes.
All right, Hank, wrap us up.
We're wrapping it up. Week 11 action on the way. Happy TFFL, everyone. Stick, we miss you. For Berto, for Chief, for our guest, Richard Berkman, thank you guys for being here. We sign off, and we'll see you next week. Happy football, everyone.